It's Friday the 13th. What it do? How's it going, guys? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. So right now I'm in the middle of doing these 6 Bond films where I'm covering all the Bond actors. I'm really working hard on that. And today I woke up forgetting it was Friday the 13th. I swear, every Friday the 13th, I wake up not realizing it's the date, but in some crazy mood, in a good mood. Whoa! And then I find out while I'm watching the TV or something that, oh, it's Friday the 13th, yeah! So I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop in the middle of editing those Bond videos.
There's something I'd like you to get off your chest.
And I'm gonna do some Friday the 13th real quick. Because I did some stuff over Halloween, but it was only Jason Goes to Hell. Now I wanna talk about something that maybe even be a little more controversial. The Friday the 13th remake! Look, this is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Like I said, it's up there with Batman for me. As you can see, I'm all decked out over here. Yeah! Posters, a DIY Camp Crystal Lake sign, toys, masks, old school DVD, multiple copies. Yeah! I got this pimpin' new hat the other day. Oh, and of course, the new Blu-ray box set. Oh, you little... My copy of Part 7 by Kane Hodder signed. Anyways, I want to talk about the remake. Yeah, I got 2 copies for some reason. And how I think it is criminally underrated. Now look, I'll be the first to admit, when I first saw this one in the theater, I had just gotten off the coattails of seeing the Rob Zombie Halloween, which I love the first Halloween by Rob Zombie. The second one is mixed bag. But the intensity that Rob Zombie brought to that Halloween movie, I was sort of expecting them to bring that to the Friday the 13th film, which they did in a way, and only for the first like 25 minutes, 28 I think. So walking out of the theater from this movie, I was sort of like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. And that's the cardinal mistake going into a movie, is expecting something. I've actually found the older I get, the less trailers that I watch of things that are coming out, the more I actually enjoy the film, and I give it an honest watch. I don't just watch it for all these expectations that I had built up. And for the Friday the 13th remake, I had a ton of expectations. And again, I've learned a lot since then. That's a long time ago. 2009, in fact. And this one was directed by the same guy who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. His name's Marcus Nispel, which he did a phenomenal job with that remake. I thought it was excellent. And it was the Platinum Dunes production company, the Michael Bay production company. And they'd had some other success and some other hits that had come out, and they decided to remake Friday the 13th while the rights were still in some sort of weird limbo and they could do it. And they said, hey, let's get Marcus Nispel. He did Texas Chainsaw, let's get him to do this one. And I think what a lot of people weren't expecting to happen with this is how much of an homage to the franchise in general he paid, not just to the first film. Because let's face it, nobody wants to see a remake of the first film because Jason's not even in it. As much as I love that original and it's amazing, it is up there in my top 5 horror film probably, it's Jason that makes the franchise iconic. And this one, which I thought was a really, really cool, smart way to approach the remake, is they essentially took the best elements from 1 through 4, compiled them up into this mashup, and threw them into the movie. But they didn't just do it and swirl them around. They actually really thought about how to do it. It's written by Damian Shannon and Mark Swift, the same 2 guys who did the Freddy vs. Jason movie, which I love. They found a really clever way to basically, if you haven't seen this movie, by the way, spoilers, but it's a Friday the 13th movie. There's nothing to really spoil about it. Just don't have the wrong expectations like I did. Just go into it just wanting to watch a fun Friday the 13th film. Anyways, but right away as you're watching the movie open up, you see the opening credits, which is a black and white scene, and you get to see basically the ending of the original film in this black and white credit scene. And they add a little something in there to where they show Jason watching his mother get beheaded. And they talk about that in the other movies and stuff like that as the lore goes on while they're telling the stories around the campfire in each movie. But this one, they add the little bit of a visual of you seeing Jason watching his mother get beheaded. They do that in the opening credits as that's going up. And so you're like, oh wow, we just saw the ending of part 1 at the very beginning of the movie. Okay. Then, cut to teenagers walking in the woods on a hiking trip. Exactly what you want to see in a Friday the 13th movie. They're doing the stereotypical one-liners that all of them have.
Do you know how much money we're gonna make selling this weed?
They're all talking about partying and beer. There's a couple over here that can't keep their hands off of each other. There's a couple over here that seems a little more serious. They actually love each other. There's a douchebag in there who's trying to run the show. just covering all the tropes right away. But then quickly this escalates and just starts going and going and going. It takes about 10 minutes for it to happen, but man, once it does, it just starts rising, and it's not like a pot of boiling water. It's more like a volcano just erupting. And the more the lava's coming out, the more you're just like, oh shit. It gets so intense. It's probably the most intense Friday the 13th scene out of the entire franchise. It is hands down my favorite opening scene of a movie. And then all of a sudden, after like 25 to 28 minutes worth of this intense, just like, yes, I'm loving this. You see the Friday the 13th logo come up, and it's like, wait a minute, this is the credits? This is the beginning? And then we get to another set of teenagers. And then that's starting part 3. So basically we've had the credits, which have covered part 1, the opening scene, which has covered part 2. Then they jump into these teenagers going to stay at somebody's cabin, just like they were doing in part 3. No counselors or anything, they're just going to hang out. That's where they covered that one. And they throw in the element from part 4 of this guy looking for his sister. While the entire film paying homage to every single movie, whether it be a kill or showing something in the background that's acknowledging a kill, like you'll see a wheelchair, you'll see whistles hanging, like they're keepsakes or trophies. It's just a lot of fan service for the entire franchise. And you can tell that Marcus Nispel jumped into this being like, you know what? I can't remake the first one. I can't just remake the second one because he's just got the potato sack. People want to see the hockey mask. That comes in part 3. And part 4 seems to be like the fan favorite, which it is. It's my favorite of them all. It's like, you know what? Why don't we just combine them all and let's pay homage to the entire franchise. Let's try to please everybody. Well, in doing that, I think he kind of pissed some people off, including me at the time. As time's gone on, I swear, every single time I watch this movie, it gets better and better and better. So much to where like it's ranking up every time I watch it. Like it was almost my least favorite of the franchise. Maybe Jason X being the really least favorite. But now it's like, no kidding, don't get mad at me, but it's like number 5? Number 4, because every time you watch it, you'll notice more and more cool little things that they're doing. And it's just like, man, I was saying this movie wasn't really all that Friday the 13th the first time I saw it. It was, you know, too funny, which there's a lot of jokes in the movie, a ton of jokes. But the more you watch it, you're like, man, Jason's a badass in this. And that's the thing they do in this one. They make him really, really a badass. All the casting in it is great. There's a lot of people that have talked about it for years now online, of people that hate the character of Trent, played by Travis Van Winkle.
It's not me. This guy's being a dick.
Yeah, it's me. Obviously, I'm the one being a dick.
Yeah, he's definitely a huge douchebag, and you just want to kick his ass the entire time. But that's the point of the character, because when he gets killed, it's awesome, and he shows himself to be a pretty big wuss. And you always have that one douchebag character in the Friday the 13th films that you want to get killed. So it's got the douchebag character, it's got all the teenagers, it's got plenty of nudity like you want. In fact, some of the most I've seen in a Friday the 13th film. And it's got great kills. The kills are really, really intense, especially the screwdriver scene in the shop. Woo!
No! What you
That one gets me. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, damn! And they take an avenue with Jason they've never done before, is they make him a little more intelligent in this. They make him a little bit more like a survivor, a hunter, a frontiersman, a woodsman. You know, and it does make sense, because if he would be out raising himself basically in the woods and just living off the land, living off of animals or whatever, he would kind of have to start putting the pieces together and learn how to survive, be a little practical. So I like that actually about him. A lot of people didn't care for that avenue they took. I thought it was really cool. And it's got a pretty decent cast. It's got Danielle Panabaker, which I think she's gorgeous. It's got Amanda Rigetti. Both of them are horror actresses. And you've also got Jared Padalecki from Supernatural, which he's a pretty good actor too. He ain't no Jensen Ackles.
No chick flick moments.
But he's still pretty cool. As far as production and quality and direction and all that goes, the movie's top notch. The soundtrack's really good. The music's awesome by Steve Jablonsky, who does a lot of stuff for Michael Bay and Platinum Dunes. Like he did all the music for the Transformer films. But all in all, if you're trying to decide what to watch on this Friday the 13th, because there's so many sequels, why not give the remake another shot? It does kind of cover the entire franchise. It gives you a feel and pays homage to the entire franchise. Sort of like going on a Jason ride, a Friday the 13th ride. You get to kind of touch on all the elements you love of Jason and Friday the 13th. Oh, and Derek Mears, the guy who plays Jason, is brutal. He's awesome as Jason in this. Kane Harder was great, and there's a lot of other Jasons that were good. Kane's my favorite, but you've heard my reasons of that in the past. But Derek Mears does a solid job of playing Jason in this. Like, for real, I'd love to see him play Jason again. Because I think at this point for Kane, he might be getting just a little too old for the character. I'm not sure he would even want to do it again. Maybe he would, I don't know. But I say Friday the 13th, directed by Marcus Nispel. Give it a shot. Watch it again. You might surprise yourself and be like, you know what? I think I like this movie. It's some bloody good fun popcorn. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in for that one. I just had to throw it in for this Friday the 13th. Hey, I hope you have a good one. Enjoy it. Watch whatever the Friday the 13th movie you feel like watching, but I recommend you give that one another shot. Look for BrassReel Brothers on Facebook. Look for Bobby Williams on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, BrassReel Bobby at BrassReel. Remember to hit that subscribe button, helping us build that fan base. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some Friday the 13th popcorn. Extra blood!
His name was Jason, and today is his birthday.